Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. If you will, like and share the post. And then, if you're able, if you will, get your Bible and let's go to the 136th Psalm. Psalm 136. We'll be looking at the final verse uh, of this psalm, a psalm that John Phillips titles The Kindness of God. And the psalmist has been describing the various ways that God has been good to Israel, good to him, and praising him for that. And I think then the natural thought of that is that he's praying that God would continue uh, that that kindness. And so the last verse, he closes this psalm by saying, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, unto the God of heaven, for His mercy endureth forever." Again, he repeats that phrase that we've seen over and over now, for His mercy endureth forever. But before that, he calls him the God of heaven. And again, this is a unique um, title, unique description. Shows up the first time God is labeled this way is earlier in the Old Testament in the book of Second Chronicles, and it is a unique name because it is a name that King Cyrus calls God, and again, this would have been particularly a particularly we have pet names, and I hate to this is my we have pet names for people we love. We might call them sweetheart or baby or something like that. And that name is kind of a special name between two people. You may have something like that with your children. Well, this will kind of, I think, probably been something like a pet name for Israel for God, because again, especially those that God had brought back from the Babylonian captivity, the remnant that God brought back. Would have looked at it. I think this would have been a special name for them as they thought about God. And again, it was a name that, again, King Cyrus had used to describe him, and he was the king who, again, ended their captivity and allowed them to return back to their homeland. Again, it was a name that shows up a lot in the book of Nehemiah, where the walls are being rebuilt, where the city is being rebuilt, in Ezra, where again the city is being rebuilt. And in fact, it shows up more in those two books than it does anywhere else put together. And again, the Jews would have just simply been looking at this and thinking of that name as the God of heaven. He is the only one, He is the one who deserves their thanks and their praise. That He is, again, the name signifies so much. It speaks to His position, it speaks to His power, it speaks to His authority. Again, the God of heaven. Again, it just is a name that just really sums up who God is, what God does. And so it would have been particularly, again, a pet name, I guess, been the favorite name probably that the Jews had for God as they considered their return home and the opportunity to rebuild their city, and that God was equipping them and giving them that opportunity, and they would have made this proclamation, and that His mercy endures forever. And this morning, and you hear even still today people say something like that. The God of Heaven is still a name that I think kind of rings. Rings true to us as we think about who He is, His authority, His power over all things. That He has the ability, that He has the power to do whatever He desires. Again, we don't really think about it, but I'm sure as the Jews would have thought about that name, they would have thought about it coming off the lips of King Cyrus, that God had even um, caused a pagan king to release them from their captivity, and even he recognized that there was a God in heaven, and it's really I'm not necessarily suggesting you start going around everywhere using that name, but it is a good one to keep in your mind and to remember that as we go through some of the challenges and the upheaval of the world we live in, to be reminded that there is still a God in heaven. There is still a God on the throne, and He will still accomplish His purpose. He will bring about His will, and that we can depend on Him. We can rely on Him to for that, for Him to accomplish His purpose. Why? Because His mercy endures forever. And I hope that will be a real challenge to you, an encouragement to you, not just today, but as you move on in life, to remember that there is still a God in heavens. Man, I know sometimes it doesn't look like it. Sometimes it looks like the wheels are just coming off of this world, and that everything is falling apart. But the psalmist reminds us here, and that's a good way to end this psalm, that there is a God in heaven, that there is still a God on the throne that you and I can depend on, one that has sent His Son for us, and one that has promised that He will return to get His people. And what a great comfort and encouragement we have in that statement, the God of heaven. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.